These days, people kind of laugh at this line.
Only Imperial Stormtroopers are so precise.
Because we all know that Stormtroopers are bumbling idiots who can't hit anything, and people have tried to come up with all sorts of ways to explain away the apparent inconsistency between the dialogue and what we see on screen, like that the E-11 is just an insanely inaccurate weapon. And it might be true that Stormtroopers aren't particularly accurate when compared to the main characters, but unlike the main characters who are the heroes of their faction, the Stormtroopers are the grunts of the Empire. So how do they compare to the grunts of the rebellion? Well, what if I told you that by virtually any metric, Imperial Stormtroopers are incredibly accurate? Let's just take a look at the opening scene of A New Hope as a case study. This scene is actually a perfect scene to study because we have mostly nameless characters facing off in an enclosed area, where we can easily count the number of shots fired as well as the number of troops who are killed. Literally no other all-out military engagement in Star Wars gives us as much clarity as this scene. So here we have a number of rebel soldiers with the benefit of cover defending a choke point through which only one trooper can come at a time. In theory, a single rebel should be able to hold this position for a long time. But what happens? The rebels are overwhelmed in a matter of seconds, losing upwards of 7 troops in the initial firefight. The rebels, with the home field advantage and an incredibly narrow choke point, only manage to take down 2 stormtroopers before they retreat. As the battle rages, the rebels manage to take down a single additional stormtrooper, while the stormtroopers take down an additional 5 rebels. By the end, we see 1 additional rebel go down, and 2 more on the ground brings the final rebel fatalities to 15. Now, just for clarity, I'm assuming that every downed rebel is a successful hit from a stormtrooper, which I think is a reasonable assumption. So comparing the rebels to the stormtroopers, well, there's hardly any comparison at all, honestly. The Empire doesn't just win, they win easily with 5 times fewer casualties. But we're not just talking about who is the more capable soldier, we're talking about accuracy, right? Now, I actually counted the number of blasts fired, and the stormtroopers collectively appear to shoot 94 times. Now, that actually sounds like a pretty low number, but you would be surprised. The blasters all appear to be semi-automatic, so they're not spraying blasts all over the place. And dividing 94 shots by 15 hits means that it would seem that the average stormtrooper takes about 6 shots to take down a rebel soldier. For comparison, the rebel soldiers claim 3 kills with 67 shots, making them some 3.7 times less accurate than the average stormtrooper, with some 22 shots per kill. At the firing range, these numbers sound like really lousy accuracy, but the figures from real-world combat tell us otherwise. In modern warfare, some estimate that it takes as many as 100,000 shots to take down a single enemy. Before the days of suppressive fire, and long before the advent of automatic weapons, battlefield accuracy was actually much higher. In the American Civil War, it has been estimated that as few as 200 rounds were required to take down a single Confederate soldier. Now, of course, this is before machine guns and modern battle tactics, but that's honestly the absolute lowest figure that I've been able to reliably find for the average soldier in battle, and it's still 33 times less accurate than a stormtrooper. Now, keep in mind that this isn't some scientific study that I've done. There are precious few scenes that can be appropriately studied. For instance, on the Death Star, we can't really count any of this as meaningful data because the stormtroopers are apparently under orders to let the rebels escape. And honestly, this might actually be more evidence for the precision of stormtroopers, because they can so reliably make it look like they're trying to hit them without hitting them, which honestly requires some pretty good aim, but I digress. And any other time that we see stormtroopers and rebel soldiers engaged in all-out combat, like on Endor or Scarif, the battlefields are too big to reliably count the number of shots compared to the number of casualties. And I guess that there's the argument to be made that the higher accuracy is just a movie thing, and that's fine, but even in the context of the film, stormtroopers are apparently still many times more accurate than rebel soldiers. So maybe it's about time that we start describing stormtroopers the way that Obi-Wan does.
Only Imperial Stormtroopers are so precise.
Hey guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear what you all think. Is there something big that I missed or didn't consider? Let me know. Now, This video mentions weapons, which kind of terrify the robots who run the algorithm here, so I can all but guarantee that this video will be put into limited or demonetized mode, and I won't make a single penny off of it. Now, it's not about the money, but if you want to help sustain and grow the channel, the absolute best way to do that and to stick it to the man is to support me on Patreon, which slowly takes me off of the finicky ad-based life support that YouTube offers. It would mean the world to me, so go ahead and check me out there if that's something you'd like to do. To the rest of you, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.